Got a delivery. Well, well, well. What do we have here? Oh, that looks nice. Time to get this bad boy in here. If you guys are wondering what this 2JZ is for, you're gonna have to stick around for a little bit longer. It's gonna be a surprise. And that little CDO1 right there is gonna be for the Celica. And that's the GS300 trans that goes with the 2JZ VVTi. Not gonna lie though, this thing looks mint. Got the 2J loaded up. Time for its new destination. And it's gonna find its new home. Got this thing at its new home. Oh, what's up? What year is this thing?
73.
73 Volvo, 164. This thing's got a fucking straight 6. Looks like a tractor.
It's painted too.
Yeah, it's freshly painted. This thing was supposedly freshly rebuilt with... How many miles ago did he say he rebuilt it?
Around 25,000 miles. Yeah. Alright, man, you ready?
Yep.
Start that shit! Oh, yeah, I just realized we can't start it, the battery's not in there.
Oh!
Fuck me. We can just take it out this far.
Alright, for sure.
Alright, yeah.
Slight intermission. Oh, there she goes. Where's your thumb button? So we tried doing a cold start on this thing and I forgot to film it, but we got most of the plumbing undone. We got the wiring harness undone on the top. G, how you feeling?
Man, we got some work to do. Feeling pretty good.
Also, if you guys are gonna be interested in seeing this build, my boy G is gonna have his channel up soon. I'll put it in the description. This thing is crazy weird though. The size of that head is tiny. For sure looks like a tractor motor.
Yeah, I've actually never opened that. It's been a minute.
Oh, you can see the valves and everything.
Pretty good.
Let me see if I can get the zoom in. Okay. Oh. 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 Huh? Oh. 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 So my CD trans adapter kit finally came in. And I decided to go with Autosport Engineering's instead of Collins adapters, mostly because the YouTube video that he had on how to put it together seemed very informative, and I don't know, I just kind of wanted to go a different route to see what their products might feel like. So basically the kit just comes with the hardware that you need, CD adapter plate, flywheel with this pretty cool setup where they're using a Fidanza plate to technically take most of the abuse from the clutch. So basically every time you're gonna swap out your clutch, instead of having to take your flywheel off, have it resurfaced and everything, you can just go ahead and get a new Fidanza piece, and then you can just throw in your new clutch and perfectly surface and smooth. So that seems like a really cool upgrade. That way I don't have to be taking the flywheel off and looking for new ones after a certain amount of time of driving. So one of the downsides to the adapter plate is I have to cut the CD transmission, so then that way I could basically mount it to the face of the inside and essentially just be able to bolt on the 1UZ bell housing, which is nice because then that way I don't have to do any relief cuts or anything like that for the starter location. The one thing I don't like about this transmission is exactly how fucking long it is. Once I get the engine and trans out of the car, I'm gonna go ahead and make some measurements and see exactly where it's gonna sit. I'm also hoping that with the 1UZ bell housing, it'll make it a bit shorter, but I might have to get a shifter relocation kit. Or maybe I could relocate it myself, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I like to fabricate and I like to make most of my own stuff, but sometimes if you can just find something that's already been pre-engineered and more than likely done on a CAD software, you know, just pay the few extra bucks, get it. That way you're saving yourself a headache of having to design it, engineer it, and make sure you're working out all the kinks. Not really understanding the engineering standpoint of it. But besides that, yeah, I'm gonna look for a shifter relocation kit and see how that goes. So first things first, I'm gonna have to clean up the trans a little bit, take off the slave cylinder and the fork, some of the other little accessories that are on there, and then I need to mark it exactly where I gotta do the cut. Then after I'm done cutting it, I'm gonna test on the adapter plate and see how it sits in there. To be honest, I've never cut off the bell housing on a transmission, so I got a little bit of nerves for this being my first time, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I got the 1UZ bell housing off. This is how the Auto Sport kit seems to fit it. That seems to be the fit that I'm getting from the Auto Sport engineering kit. It looks like it's right on the money. To be honest, I can't really see the threads unless I'm looking at it from the inside. So I have the CD trans and I'm gonna start cutting it. Basically, after watching a few videos of people installing this kit, they all went right on this back line of the rib and they just kind of followed it straight all the way through. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start cutting there. As soon as I'm done, I'll go ahead and give you guys a little update. So I officially have the bell housing cut off. Now I got this thing left. So the next step is gonna be to loosen all the bolts on this cover. Then I'm gonna go ahead and spray everything down with some brake clean, get some gasket maker, make sure everything is nice and cleaned up. Probably gonna file these down by hand just to make sure that they're not gonna be hitting up against the adapter plate. We're throwing the new input shaft seal, and then after that, this thing should be good to go. I should be able to throw the 1U bell housing on there. Let's knock this thing out. Alright, so I got everything mocked up. So the adapter plate is just kind of sitting in there for right now. I didn't tighten everything down, it's just kind of snug. You could also notice that I didn't put the input seal. And the bell housing is just kind of floating on there too. It's not all the way tightened down. Just kind of wanted to mock everything up, see how it sat, and personally, I really like it. It's a cool kit, but realistically, I do have to figure out what I'm gonna do about this shifter. I'm gonna try to see if maybe I can find a Collins adapter kit, which is funny because I didn't go with his adapter kit, to see if I can relocate the shifter location. Oh, that's great. God damn it. We'll just put that there for now. If anyone might need a CD bell housing, let me know. I got one for free. It's kind of sitting there. Still got to take off the torque converter on the 1UZ. To be honest, I'm fucking lazy as hell. To be honest, I'm not looking forward to that. I gotta basically crawl under from the bottom and undo each bolt, crank it over, unbolt, crank it, unbolt, then take the flywheel off. But installing this new flywheel is gonna be nice on there. I'm interested in seeing if this input shaft bushing is gonna work correctly. Seems to fit pretty good. There's no play in there, but it's gonna be one of those things that we just kind of over time see what happens. So yeah, this is what the Celica looks like right now. It's kind of a mess. It's kind of depressing, to be honest. But I mean, this weather has not been chill whatsoever. And then with everything going on with the whole coronavirus thing, I don't even want to get started. But if there is anything that I can put out there that any of you guys can digest, please do not freak out over the coronavirus. It is not that bad. It is a mild flu. I mean, I understand that its spread rate is absolutely insane, and that's what honestly terrifies people, and also the fact that we have no common antibiotics that can fight it. But besides that, it is a common fucking flu. If you got kids, if you need diapers, if you need, toilet paper, wipes, whatever the hell, do not go crazy. Don't make it harder for everybody else out there that has a family. But yeah, realistically, I'm no virologist. I don't really understand the whole genetic makeup of viruses and what the hell they do. But I can honestly guarantee you this is not that bad. This is not that bad. Right now I'm just waiting on some ARP flywheel bolts to come in so that way I can finally bolt this in. That way I can start working on mating the 1UZ to the CD trans and focus more on pulling the motor out of the Celica. You don't understand how excited I am to see this thing run. It's almost to the point where I'm gonna leave the rear end forelug, put the motor, put the trans in, have some shitty fucking drive shaft made just so that way I can go up and down the fucking street until the rear end blows up. Cause I'm getting real fucking sick of waiting. And unfortunately, it's not like money grows on trees, so I gotta do everything with a little bit of patience. That's about it for the Celica. I am thinking about working on some seat brackets that I need, so since I basically took the 2 front seats out of the Celica and put them in the truck, so that way I can get rid of the bend. They fit almost perfect. The only thing is the back tabs are about 1.5 inches too far away. So I'm gonna have to fabricate something together, but right now West Steel and Plastics is closed, so I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow morning to get some square tubing. So for right now, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna continue this tomorrow. So I don't got much to do on my Celica today, but I'm gonna focus on finishing up the interior of my truck. I recently started converting it over to a 2-seater instead of a bucket seat, and then I also wanted to put in a center console. Might as well give you guys a little look on that. So right now, the inside of my truck basically looks like what my Celica did. I even threw in the old little center console from the BMW, and I can pretend like I have an e-brake right here. I do gotta make something for the battery. Right now I just kind of have it covered by clear vinyl and an old t-shirt. And I mean, the battery's fully secured down. I made a little mounting bracket and stuff for it. The thing I don't like, I kind of have the driver's seat just sitting on these wood blocks for right now. And it's kind of to elevate it a little bit. It drops back a little too low in the back. It feels like I'm the shortest person on earth, and I'm already kind of short, so it's not helping a lot. And also the mounting tab is actually about 1.5 inches, or was it 1.25 inches more back. So instead of welding and drilling into the truck, I'm just gonna basically make some mounts out of some tube and a little steel plate. So that way I can just bolt it into the old location and then bolt the new seat onto that little tube part. So then that way it'll just kind of hold itself up, and at the same time, everything stays stock. So I'm just gonna take some of this 1.5 inch 095 wall that I have left over. It's about 4.5 inches in length. And I'm just gonna kind of cut it in half, weld it onto some 3/16 plate. And I mean, it's just some seats. I don't really think you need to have too much structure in there. I'm hoping it's gonna be just a quick, simple solution, because in all reality, I'm not trying to mess with it too much. The truck right now is just bone stock. It's still riding on the torsion bars in the front, and it's got drop locks in the back, so I don't do anything that crazy with it. Plus, it's my daily that passes smog, so I'm not trying to mess with it too much. Just somewhere down the line, I do want to convert it over to McPherson strut. Possibly do like a turbo build with a 22 RE, especially since I'm gonna have a spare one once I pull it out of the Celica. But for now, my truck is just gonna stay good old reliable. But anyways, for right now, I'm gonna get started on these mounts. So these are the little plates that I came up with. So it's basically just 2 tabs that are gonna bolt into the original seat location. Then I'm gonna weld these little caps onto this. The seat's gonna bolt through. I'm gonna weld a nut on the bottom of this, so then that way it's gonna be locked in place. And I'm just gonna bolt everything through there. Should be pretty simple. Let's do it. So I finally finished up the seat mounts, and they look like garbage, but they work. Look at those bubblegum welds. Oh man, my autofocus doesn't even want to focus on those. But now I can feel a little bit safer knowing that my truck is fully bolted down to the ground instead of just the 2 front bolts and wood planks in the rear. The passenger side, I'm just gonna make tabs. I don't really plan on evening out the rear, which is why I had to make pedestals. So the main reason I even had to make pedestals was because my driver's seat sits too slanted in the back, and it feels like I'm cholo leaning. So I had to even it out, and originally I just had 2 2x4 chunks in there laying on their side. So about 2 inches got me right to where I needed to be. For the passenger side, I think I'm just gonna make little tabs that bolt into place. I'm not really too worried about the back being evened out. It's more so a driver thing. The passenger side, it can stay where it's at. It's a little bit more of a relaxed driving style. If anything, it's more comfortable. So basically, I'm waiting on my throwout bearing, my ARP flywheel bolts, and my ARP pressure plate bolts to come in, so that way I can finish putting together the 1UZ. Then next, I'm gonna be working on making my own wiring harness. I found a website called NZEFI, where they actually sell all the OE Toyota plugs, and that's pretty fucking nice because I'm planning on making the whole entire loom all the way over again, brand new. I wanna be able to tuck the wiring harness as much as I can, so that way I'm able to extend whatever cables I need to extend and shorten whatever else I need to shorten, and then not have to deal with the constant hassle of old plugs that just wanna snap on you whenever you press them. Also next week, I'm gonna be starting up the E36 again. I wanna be able to drive this season, so I'm gonna make sure I get everything on that tuned up, so that way it'll be good to go. I still haven't got my hands on a trailer, but I can always just go rent one from U-Haul. But I am planning on competing this year, so get ready to see me at your local NorCal track. But yeah, for now, that's basically it. I don't have too much going on, and with this whole coronavirus thing, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna be having way more content up in the next few weeks. For now, I'm gonna end it here. Peace!